Now, WYFF News 4 presents For the Record.
Welcome to For the Record. I'm Chase Justice. It's time to talk some puck. Hockey season is officially underway, and the Greenville Swamp Rabbits are excited for what this season holds. We'll speak with Swamp Rabbits head coach and general manager Chad Costello, as well as team president Tim Vieira later in the show. But joining me first this morning, the official voice of the Swamp Rabbits, as well as the senior director of communications and team services, Mark Benetti. Mark, it's your third season with the team. What has it been like learning this market, moving to Greenville, and learning the team as well?
Well, the beauty of minor professional sports, especially regardless of where you're at, is the passion of the fan base, how the fan base takes the sport in, how they express their excitement, their fandom. They show up for the promotional nights and everything. And so the only real adjustment has been getting to learn a different fan base, learn the people that make it run, learn the heartbeat and soul, and it's been a lot of fun since.
You have another season off and running. What's the excitement been like learning a new team with a new coach this season?
Well, every year gives you a different perspective, right? Because it's, different coaches come with different styles, systems, their players that they've known from teams past and whatnot. And then your free agent construction, it's very different to see what different players bring to different schemes. But ultimately, when the puck hits the ice, no matter what, the game's going to be played, and whatever comes, and it's very exciting.
Opening weekend is now in the books. What have been some of your takeaways about the way the team played to start the season?
Resolve, resilience, and compete. I think those are three things that fans really wanted to see, and their input is incredibly valuable for just as much what happens on the ice as it is off of it. But our fans are, they're blue-collar people, right? Hockey fans are very work ethic driven, and so what they wanted to see first and foremost from the team was the work ethic. And I think you saw that through the last three games. It was an unfortunate decision on Friday night losing to Utah, but the resolve was there, the compete was there. Saturday, you go through a wild 7-goal second period, but never back down. Savannah had an answer, so did the Swamp Rabbits. You outlast them in a shootout, and then you go to the Sunday anchor, the first of 12 matchups against the Stingrays, and you're down 4-1, but find a spark, find some life, and it's a 1-goal game with about 8:45 left in regulation. So I think my biggest takeaway is the resolve and the compete of this team, and if they play like that for the next, the full 72-game slate, watch out, because it's going to be very dangerous.
You mentioned the blue-collar mindset of this team. What do you see as some of the strengths in this group in particular?
I think the experience. One of my favorite stats learning about this team at the start of the year was everybody, with the exception of 2 players on the roster, had at least 1 game of professional experience. Some of the returners, key from the last end of the 24-25 season, had 15-plus games as rookies, and a classified rookie is 25 games or less entering a year. So the fact that you've got 4 or 5 guys that are technically rookies but have actual body of experience of 15, 20-something games, that goes a long way. That's a heck of an advantage, and eliminates a learning curve going into the next year.
We're going to talk with the head coach, Chad Costello, here in a couple of minutes. What has the process been like learning him both on and off the ice?
Well, it's just been really fun to get to know Coach Costello. Hockey is such a microscopic world, and I remember working with the Rapid City Rush, and Coach Costello was the captain and the leading scorer of the Allen Americans. So I got to watch him play a lot, and it didn't matter if the Rush somehow squeaked out a win, he'd still have 3 or 4 points. It was absolutely wild. We had a heck of a playoff tilt, the 15 playoffs, going to 6 games in the second round. But to see him as a player and then how he's evolved as a coach, it's the exact same guy. The same competes there, the same drive is there. Getting to learn how he handles his day-to-day has been great. Getting to work with him alongside in that day-to-day has been awesome, and it's only up from here with 1 weekend in the books.
You have your hand in a lot of promotions, and the Swamp Rabbits go heavy on the promotions. I was there at NASCAR night last season. It was absolutely awesome. What are some of the promotions you guys are most excited about this season?
Well, when it comes to making the promotional nights, the cliche in the office is play the hits. So you're going to get the usual NASCAR night again. That's going to come up in January. You've got Stick It to Cancer night presented by Bon Secours. You have Project Search night, recognizing the Project Search interns, also a Bon Secours specialty night. But we've got a lot of really cool new ones. We have Conservation night, Oktoberfest in the mix. So many other. Blue Collar night is another great one that we've got. There's a lot that goes into making these nights, and they're all unique in their own way. So you play the ones that are the key hits, but then you find other ways too to keep the fans engaged with some new stuff.
You've been kicking around the South for a while now. When it comes to building fans in a market that maybe traditionally isn't so in-depth with hockey, in a market with so many different options when it comes to the Greenville Drive, the Spartanburgers, the Triumph, why should fans come out and check out a Swamp Rabbits game this season?
I think the biggest thing when it comes to getting people ingratiated into hockey is that it's an honest game. There's an element of policing the game itself with fighting and with the unwritten rules of the game, but the work that goes into it from these players and from the front office alike, it's an honest game. It's a hard-working game, and so when you're trying to get to a new fan base, when you're trying to convince them, hey, come out and see us, it's the energy of the game, it's the physicality, it's the beauty of the game as well, but it all ultimately comes into an honest game, and I think that's the most important thing to get across to fans.
What has been your favorite part about being a member of the Swamp Rabbits?
The honesty, again, I go back to that because it's not just with the team, it's the front office too. I've had the opportunity with Spire Sports and Entertainment ownership to know this office for a very long time. A lot of the key players, especially our president, Tim Vieira, I've known him since he worked with the Kansas City Mavericks back in the day. Brian McGannon, our new Vice President of External Affairs, the same thing. Brett Sullivan's been in this office for 8 years as well. So guys that I've gotten to know through my travels with Rapid City. Spire bought Rapid City, then bought Greenville. So I've had a lot of synergy with this organization. So the honesty and the trust has been something that's really stood out to me over the last 2.5 years.
And last question for me, we'll talk about the team in particular here. Why is this a group that you think might be able to challenge for a Kelly Cup and hopefully raise one come later in the season?
Because the attitude's totally different. With the approach to the day-to-day from the coaching staffs, not just head coach Costello, but associate coach Jason Payne too, who's had great success as a head coach at the ECHL level. The veteran experience that we have, everybody has come in with the attitude of there's no room to sit back and be complacent. You have to go every single day, win every day. That's what Coach Costello tells the room. You got to try and put yourself in a position to win every day on and off the ice, and that attitude's going to go a long way over the course of a grueling season.
Nobody better. Mark, thank you very much for joining us, the official voice of the Swamp Rabbits. Can't wait to follow you guys along this season. But straight ahead on For the Record, we talk with Swamp Rabbits head coach Chad Costello as he embarks on year one as the man in charge over at the Well.
Get your high school football scores and highlights on TV, online, and the WYFF4 app. Check out the Game of the Week, sponsored by Blue Ridge Electric Cooperative.
Art is part of who we are. It connects us to our past, shapes our present, and inspires what's ahead. This November, Greenville Open Studios invites you inside the creative spaces of our community. Meet 160 artists across 95 studios, all in one remarkable weekend. Visit greenvilleopenstudios.com for more information.
Millions of Americans are facing food insecurity.
As the government shutdown continues, local families are facing critical need.
We'll just have to skip a couple dinners.
We are actually at a critically low food point.
WYFF News 4, providing important updates, vital information for families.
So many people across our area are looking for places to get free food.
And how we can all lend a hand.
All the citizens working together.
Help us, help our communities.
For continuing coverage, stay with WYFF News 4. Rapid response to live local breaking news.
This is new Sky 4 video showing a small
Sky
protest.
4, getting there first, capturing the story as it unfolds.
Emergency officials are working to...
Nothing gets you closer.
All lanes are back open.
On top of the stories that impact you.
Exclusive Sky 4 video showing
Sky 4.
Welcome back to For the Record. I'm joined now by the man behind the operation, Swamp Rabbits head coach and general manager, Chad Costello. Chad, you're the 6th head coach in Swamp Rabbits team history, your 3rd season as a coach. What's been the process like taking over as the leader of this team this season?
Yeah, this process has been a little different, I'll be honest. It's first time in division, in the South Division. It's a tough division. It's known around the league as one of the best. So it's very competitive. There's no easy nights in this division. So that's kind of been the I wouldn't say struggle, but the main difference is getting to know our guys, getting to know the other team's guys, as well as the travel schedule and what teams want to do to us and what they're trying to do. So learning, I would say learning as much as I can on the fly.
What was it about this Swamp Rabbits job, this opportunity that felt like the right fit for you?
Yeah, I would say timing for one. I think that I was available, and the job was available, so that makes it a little easy. So then when I looked into the opportunity, look at the ownership with Spire Sports, in my opinion, it's the strongest ownership in the league. So getting able to team up with them, I worked with them in Rapid City. I love the way that they treat the players and the organization. So it was something that it was an actually easy decision. And then I started meeting kind of the organization here in Greenville, and their hunger for a championship is matched mine. So I thought it was a perfect fit.
As a former player, you have an old school way about you. What are some of the pillars you're hoping to build this team on, at least in year one for you here?
Yeah, we went to Johnstown and we kind of played that style there. We like to play rough. We like to be honest. Like like Binner said earlier. It's just the style that I was raised in is you know, we were in Johnstown in the old slap shot guy. He said, you know, a guy has a puck, he's supposed to get hit, and that, I agree. You know, we like to play rough. We like to put on a show, and an entertaining show. We like to try to score goals, but at the same time, do what it takes to defend for our goaltender. So a little bit of old school and new school mixed in there. So
run me through some of the guys on the ice, some of the players we can watch out for the most this season.
Well, right now, you know, we have 2D that we really like. We like all our players, but the two that have stand out so far is Jake Murray. He's been a leader on and off the ice. The way that he holds himself, and he's actually comfortable in all situations on the ice and off the ice. He's been a true leader, and he does, you know, like all good leaders, he leads by example, right? Not just the words out of his mouth. So he's been real exciting to work with so far. And Josh Atkinson, he's kind of our old man of the team. You know, he's been around. He's played overseas. You know, for the last 5-6 years, he played in the American League for a long time. So tons of experience from those two, and they've been leaders all the way. And up front, I have to say that you know, the additions of Savoy and Singleton were huge. And as those guys develop and you know, have more chemistry, I think that they'll start lighting it up. But right now, early, I think Cam Hossinger has kind of stolen the show. He's one of those guys that fans can really relate to because he's going to be himself every single shift, and it's fun to watch. Sometimes you got to bring him back a little bit, but he's not afraid to hit. He's not afraid to score, and he gets in there and stands up for his teammates. He brings his heart and emotions to every shift, and I love that.
Opening weekend is now in the books. 1-2 through your first 3 games. What were some of the takeaways from the opening weekend on the ice?
Yeah, it's funny. You know, we look back at the analytics, and we won almost every single category. It's just, and I'm not a coach. You know, I'm more of an eye test kind of guy, so I don't look too far into the analytics. I came to win, so when I look up at the scoreboard, that's all I need to see. I think that if we just take the analytics, put them aside for a bit, and just raise our compete level just a little bit and realize that we're right there, no steps back, just steps forwards for the first week, I think that we'll be off to a good month. You know, that's our goal, is to you know, have a real respectable month and see where we stand up.
Can't win them all until you win the first. What do you see as some of the strengths of the team this season?
So far, we're never out of a game. You know, that last game, we had 3-3 with travel. It was not ideal. They're not in game shape, let's be honest. You just got started. So I didn't love the schedule, but we're going to play them. You know, we always say we don't make the schedule, we just play them. So we were playing South Carolina, who's known to be a good team in our division. So we're down 4-1, and we fought back. Those are things to build on as far as, and then the one when we did have in Savannah, you know, that game could have gone either way. And then I think that was the first time I saw some of our guys raise the bar and do what it takes to win the game. You've had success at every level you've coached at so far. I know the season is still young, and everybody wants to raise a cup, but how are you going to find success in year 1 with the Swamp Rabbits? Yeah, it's you know, I think every coach has their process, that's for sure, and I have mine, and it's to stick with the day that you're in. You know, you can't look too far ahead. Try to have a good practice, you know, try to have a good workout, try to be a good teammate, you know, try to enter the room with a good attitude. You know, those are all things that you can control, in my opinion. Sometimes you get in the games, and there's things that are going to happen that are a little wild and out of your control, whether it's calls or travel or schedule or whatever it may be. So if you just concentrate on taking care of where your 2 feet are, I like our chances. As a former player, knowing exactly what these guys are going through, being in the same position that they once were, how does that transition into the box? How has that helped you as a coach? Well, you know, I'll keep it simple and just talk about how it's going to help me this week. I notice when I look out there, there's lack of chemistry. Some guys think we're going left, and other guys think we're going right, or the timing's a little off. You know, a guy thinks he's going to shoot, and then he passes. Those things are things that we're going to clean up with practice time. We did have that Johnstown preseason game, so we lost 2 days in travel there. I wouldn't go back. I loved the trip. I think it was good for us in the long run. We got to know each other, but we need to spend some time on the ice at practice. What has been your favorite part about this process, taking over here in Greenville? So far, it's been the relationships. You know, the relationships with our players is building. You know, I've gotten to know our staff pretty well, but sometimes I'm a little reserved at first, and as we've gotten to go here, I've got to know the staff a lot better, and those relationships are really important to me. Coach Costello, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck this season for you with the Swamp Rabbits. But still to come on For the Record, we sit down with the Greenville Swamp Rabbits president, Tim Vieira, as he prepares to enter year 6 with the team.
Greenville ranks #2 in South Carolina for millionaires, with 7% holding investable assets of $1 million or more. You got there through hard work and disciplined savings. You often don't see yourself as rich and are surprised to discover you've reached the $1 million mark. We call you middle-class millionaires. That's who we serve. That's who we know best. And we not only help you build wealth, but enjoy it too. Kendall Capital, serving middle-class millionaires.
In the military, a 9-line is a call for rescue for a soldier who is injured on the battlefield. Our founder, George Fink, served 2 tours in Vietnam. When he returned, he made a promise to keep serving. Today, George Fink Injury Lawyers is one of the largest injury law firms in the country. If you or a loved one gets hurt on the road or at work, we are your 9-line. Call us day or night at all nights.
The smart start to your morning.
Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Destiny Chan.
And I'm Aaron Baker.
Breaking news right now.
This building is a total loss.
Covering more places.
We're reporting live in Spartanburg County.
In downtown Greenville.
Now to Pickens County. More stories that matter to you.
Campus safety officials issued an all-clear.
The area's certified most accurate forecast and traffic updates to keep you on time. Live, local, breaking news for your morning. Wake up and watch WYFF News 4 today.
1 hour. All you need to know around the world and here in the Carolinas. For 1 hour, go deeper into the headlines from across the nation to your own backyard. It's all in 1 hour. The breaking, accurate, most watched, trusted hour. Live, local breaking news. WYFF News 4 at 6. NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas at 6:30.
Thanks for staying with us for the Record. Joining us now is Swamp Rabbits team president Tim Vieira. Tim, the 2025 season is underway. The team back on the ice. Does it feel like you guys just kind of pushed the puck into the net, or is the work just getting started for the season?
You know, so many times people say, oh, what's the offseason like in sports? And for us as an office, for us as a staff, that's really the time to get ahead of the season. That's really the time to plan for the season. So in a lot of ways, it's just kind of that checkpoint of now we're here. Now we're in execution mode, and now we roll into the season. But our staff has worked really hard this summer to get ourselves off to a good start. Really excited with the opening night we had. Great crowd, great energy in the building, and just the start from here. So
now that the season is going, what does day-to-day look like for you?
Yeah, so you know, now that we're in the season, it comes quick, right? It's like every week you're coming with home games, or you know, teams traveling, and we have events, or you're getting ready for the next set of home games. So it comes quick for our office, but you know, as we move through the season, those focal points really shift to what are those theme nights? What are those big promotional opportunities? And there's a lot of them throughout the year. You know, 36 home games from middle of October to middle of April. A lot of those are those weekend theme nights. You know, it's probably 18 to 20 core theme nights, core promotional opportunities. And our intent and our focus is always, how do we make each game a unique opportunity? How do we make it a unique event? And I think that's our focal point. You know, we want to make each opportunity to come see the Swamp Rabbits unique. You know, and you're going to get the same fast-paced adrenaline on the ice. You're going to get the same energy from the game. About how, from a fan experience, does each experience feel a little bit different? You know, that's a big focus.
As the president of the organization, I'm sure you have your hand in a lot of metaphorical cookie jars. What are some of the goals you have as a front office for the team this season?
So this is 5 seasons now of Spire Sports as our ownership group here in Greenville, going into the 6th season that we just started. And I think for us, going into that next 5 years here in the market, it's really important for us to continue to be a focal point as a community organization. You know, for us, everything starts and everything ends with us being a community organization. And I think the most important things for us as we go through another season is, how do we engage these different nonprofit groups? How do we engage these different community causes, the different community entities? You know, we're really excited to bring back our school day game for a 2nd year this year, and it's going to be an awesome event. We're going to be chock full of students in the arena. Those are the things that we really want to hang our hat on. You know, how do we, from a corporate responsibility standpoint, be an organization that Greenville is proud to call home, that the Upstate is proud to call their team, you know, and those are the important things for us.
When it comes to building a community, building a fan base, what are some of the specific ways you're hoping to get butts in seats this season for the fans?
Yeah, you know, I think it's just having confidence in our product, having confidence in when people come to a game, whether they know the rules of hockey or they don't, you're going to get a lot of fast-paced energy, you're going to get a lot of excitement, you're going to get things that the kids are going to stand up and be like, man, this is awesome, you know, so I think that's where we build our our product around is it's a fast-paced, high adrenaline product. And then when you mix in those community initiatives, when you mix in those promotional opportunities, and each game can feel a little bit unique. Each game can feel a little bit different. That's the goal. You come to a game in December, and you're going to bring stuffed animals with you because you're going to partake in the teddy bear toss. Or if you're coming on New Year's Eve and you're sticking around after the game to see fireworks on the ice, those are the things that we want to build our product around and continue to build our product around.
It goes right into my next question. You guys are very heavy on promotions. I was able to make it out to NASCAR night last year. It was off the chain. What are some of the big promotions you guys are most looking forward to in the 2025-26 season?
Yeah, so, I think as you kind of just go chronological order through the season here, we have a Star Wars night in November. That has been one that's been a staple on our calendar for a couple of years now. So that comes back to the arena on November 8th. The school day game that we briefly talked a little bit about, that's a Wednesday 10:30 a.m. game. So this is a field trip opportunity for schools from all the surrounding counties to come out, learn from some STEM educational content. That's going to be a really fun day for us. That's a Wednesday 10:30. That same weekend you have a Faith and Family Day, which is a rare 4 p.m. Saturday start time. And for us, that's important to have opportunities for families to come out with an earlier start on a Saturday. So 4 o'clock puck drop there. And then you go into December. Teddy bear toss is one that we've talked a little bit about. That is a staple for us. We also represent our first responders in December with the First Responders Night, and that's going to have a Marvel superheroes tie to it this year as well. And then we cap off December with a new one that we're really excited about, Charlie Brown Christmas.
Okay.
And following that game, you're going to get to watch the Charlie Brown Christmas special on the Jumbotron after the game. So that's one that we're really excited about. And then for a third year in a row, we cap off the calendar year with New Year's Eve. And that's a game that's become a staple for us. And again, post-game fireworks on the ice. You mentioned NASCAR night in January. Another one that we're excited to bring back. A new one for January. We have a Monster Jam night. Wow. So that's going to be a full-on Monster Jam experience with an actual Monster Jam on the concourse, a driver to meet and greet. And then some more staples in February. Stick It to Cancer night is one that, from an impact standpoint, from a community standpoint, is one that means a lot for us, partnering with Bon Secours St. Francis Health on Stick It to Cancer night, and then capping February with Military Appreciation Night. So a lot as we go through the season, a lot as we go through that calendar. But again, I think it's really important for us to find these different promotional opportunities, find these different nights that are going to impact different parts of the community. And I think that's a big piece to our product.
We're in the South. It's no secret hockey may not be as universally beloved down here as in other parts of the country. What has been the process like in your 6 years here, just building hockey fans in a market that previously might not have had many? Yeah, I think it's unique. I think a lot of this population growth, right, that's coming from the Northeast and the Upper Midwest, there are hockey fans that are coming here to the Upstate that are craving that product. For those that are here that are maybe in that non-traditional market growing up, not around the game, again, I think we lean back on being a fan experience first, and we lean back on when you come to our games, there's going to be energy, there's going to be excitement from the time you walk through the door, sometimes even on the pregame plaza before you get in the arena. But there's going to be energy, there's going to be activities for the kids, there's going to be all those different activations with those theme nights. And then once you kind of warm up that water a little bit and allow people to have a reason to come to the game because again, maybe they're a Star Wars fan, right? They come to that Star Wars night. Once they get into the arena, once they see the product live, there's a lot of those, wow, I didn't realize that hockey was like this live, So I think a lot of that is just a continued education process. But I think like anything, the more energy, the more excitement you get behind it, the more that arena gets energized, the more that people come to that experience and say, man, this is pretty good. Sounds like you guys have a lot planned for the upcoming season. Tim, thank you very much for joining us, and I can't wait to get out for a number of those promotions you guys have going on this year.
Thanks very much.
And still to come on For the Record, from the ice to the streets of the Big Apple.
I had no idea what was in store, so we just came prepared to get dressed and came in Fine Arts Center.
In case you missed it, a big surprise and a huge honor for an upstate marching band.
Get a sky view of weather all across our area with WYFF News 4's Skycam Network, sponsored by Big O Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Teachers work incredibly hard, impacting students in the classroom every day. I've seen that firsthand with my own mother, who teaches second grade here in Greenville County. It's one of the reasons why I'm honored to tell the inspiring stories of our local educators.
Nominate your favorite teacher for the Golden Apple Award. Stop by your local Ingalls to pick up a form. Then watch WYFF News 4 Thursdays at 5 p.m.
Together, let's celebrate our amazing teachers.
As a contractor, you know the cost for contacting 811 before you dig. Absolutely nothing. But do you know the cost if you don't make use of this free service? You could dig yourself into a big hole, damaged utilities, fines and expensive repairs, serious injuries. That cost is just too high. Contact 811 every dig, every time. It's free, and it's the law. Learn more at sc811.com.
911, what city is your emergency?
The true crime original you watch in prime time
is a stranger-than-fiction story.
Also available every weekday.
It's bad to begin with, and it got so much worse.
I'm Craig Melvin. Join me for Dateline, weekdays at 11 on WYFF4.
The Burns High School Marching Band certainly takes pride in what they do, and they should. They performed in many places and have won a number of awards over the years. Still, what happened on an October Tuesday morning brought a crescendo of excitement. Our Kara Clark reports, and in case you missed it.
Another typical assembly in the auditorium, right? Not quite.
I've been anxious since we found out last week because it's kind of been a secret. It's the worst kept secret in the community. Our superintendent yelled when I told him. Our PR person, she screamed when I told her.
The drum majors figured something was up. They were told to dress in uniform.
I had no idea what was in store, so we just came prepared to get dressed and came in Fine Arts Center.
The screen didn't give it away at first, just something about trip guidelines. But then a check was presented from the Macy's at Haywood Mall, and this showed up on the screen. That's right, James F. Burns High School in Duncan, South Carolina, is marching in the granddaddy of all parades, the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in 2026, the parade's 100th anniversary. 100 schools applied.
Only 10 were chosen, and only a couple of high school bands. There are a couple of college bands going this year.
It's not the first time the Rebel Regiment has had this honor. It marched in 1983. It marched in 1996 when the temperature was just 17 degrees. It marched again in 2002 when it was a bit warmer. That legacy impressed the Macy's judges.
I want to make a bigger impact in my band. I want to carry on a legacy that people before me have set.
And it's a rich legacy. Burns is considered one of the top marching bands in South Carolina with a number of awards. In 2026, it will march into the new year and to New York with yet another honor.
That was Carol Clark reporting. And thank you for joining us for the Record. We want to examine issues important to this community. If you have an idea for a story or an issue you think needs a deeper conversation, you can email us at the address on your screen, fortherecord@wyff4.com. Thank you and have a great day. We'll see you next time.